Now, Steve Bannon doesn't seem to be the only one out there trying to dodge subpoenas. Also, LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva and his second in command seem to not want to answer questions by dodging lawsuits or dodging subpoenas to answer questions about allegations of having gang activity going on in the sheriff's department. You'd think he'd want to stand up and say that this doesn't go on, but apparently he decided that he'd prefer to be elsewhere. And this is according to a report from the LA Times. Let's see what they had to say. So according to the LA Times, the latest subpoenas called for Villanueva and Undersheriff Tim Murakami to appear at the commission's meeting Thursday. Villanueva was subpoenaed to testify about gang-like groups. And well, that was of deputies following the release of a study LA County officials commissioned the Rand Corp to conduct on the issue. Now, the study found that 16% of the 1,608 deputies and supervisors who anonymously surveyed questions have been invited to join a group, with some invitations having come in at least the last 5 years. Yes, the last 5 years. And we've heard so much in the media about there being kind of gang affiliations and essentially illegal conduct, hiding of records, things going on in the LA County Sheriff's Department, and Villanueva essentially just throwing its shade and pretending he need not answer it. Now, Villanueva, what he did is he briefly attended this remote meeting, only really to just hop out and leave before it was his time to testify. Now, this chief of staff had prepared a statement on his behalf, but again, the commission had subpoenaed him and brought him there, yet he did not answer the questions. Now, let's talk about his second man in charge, Murakami, and what he did. So Murakami, well, he was subpoenaed to testify about the civil rights and public integrity detail, a unit that's a unit he oversees that critics have accused of targeting the sheriff's most vocal critics. Now, Murakami indicated on Wednesday that he had an unspecified health issue, and thus he was too busy to attend. So even the first man in command can't be present, but now the second man, all of a sudden, he's got a hiccup and a cough and he can't be there. And so what happened here? Well, the snub is the latest ploy in an increasingly hostile power struggle between Villanueva and the Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Commission. Much of the recent controversy has revolved around the commission's authority to issue subpoenas that compel the sheriff and members of his staff to answer their questions under oath. Villanueva has called the commission's demand for him to do so an abuse of power. Members of the commission, meanwhile, have said his recalcitrance is an attempt to flout the body's oversight powers. And Villanueva said in a statement Wednesday night that the commission exists to offer advice, not interrogate. This is interesting because California State Superior Court said that Villanueva and the LA County Sheriff, well, they need to answer these subpoenas because basically the commission does have authority to essentially push forward with these subpoenas. So, Big Wills, how do you feel about this?
Man, it's kind of funny in the sense that if you've ever come into contact with the law, they say if you don't got nothing to hide, you should talk. Why get a lawyer? Why lawyer up? If you got nothing to hide, come talk to us. You're not in trouble if you didn't do anything wrong. You should be forthcoming. That's what the police always preach to people who they're interrogating, who they're investigating. So I find it quite humorous that now that the LA County Sheriff's Department is under investigation by an outside group, which is important. This isn't, this isn't IA Internal Affairs basically doing a dog and pony show of an investigation. This is an outside, independent civilian group who's trying to hold these guys accountable. I would encourage everybody who's watching this right now to go read Knock LA, their report on the gangs within the LAPD, LA County Sheriff's Department. It was quite shocking, the revelations in there, just the way these guys operate. So yeah, I'm not surprised, but I find it ironic that these police don't want to talk.
Yeah, no, isn't that interesting how all of a sudden they decide to use their right to silence, I guess? And the thing that gets me is that this seems like an entirely lawful subpoena trying to find out if there is gang activity involved and misconduct in the sheriff's department. So you'd think that the officers want to step up, but apparently not. They don't want to really dispel the notion of misconduct. And before we move on quickly, I'll note that settlements and adjudications of claims from the LA County Sheriff's Department, they've cost taxpayers in LA County at least $550 million between 2012 and 2020. So again, I guess misconduct is definitely going on and quite rampant, and it'd be great if Villanueva or someone representing him stood up and really kind of testified otherwise.